Okay, how are we, team? We've got Michael Farrier-Twist here. So this is our first left-handed interview, I'd suppose you would say.
How is
So
it?
well, let me think about that actually. Probably is. And it probably plays to your advantage, I'd say, Michael. You've become incredible
I have had an
popular.
influx of lefties recently, to be
You
honest. Yeah, it's
have
true.
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I get students directly messaging me or emailing me saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a left-handed coach." We've got a couple. Nick Adcock is over in where he's in Florida at the moment. There's a couple of really good sort of left-handed coaches. But do you find, before we actually get into it and we learn more about you, how do you find that like right-handers are hesitant to come and learn from you, or do they ever say to you, "Hey, I know you're left-handed, but are your visuals right-handed?" Like, how does that work?
So, I mean, I do every video left-handed, and then for right-handed students, so most of my students are right-handed. I just flip the camera.
Yeah,
So I'm
gotcha.
so used to calling my left hand my right hand, and so if I teach left-handed, my left and right are just more confused.
Yeah,
But
gotcha. Right.
I think there was a few people that I think they hadn't seen me on social media. They just found me on the app, and they didn't even know I was a left-hander. And then they saw me on social media, and like, hold on, you're playing golf left-handed. It's like I'm a
Right.
lefty, and they didn't realize. So I think people just don't know because
No.
that's the beauty of online. I guess you can just flip the video.
Well, totally. I mean, think about all the right-handed coaches that have taught left-handers all their life, sort of thing,
Yeah, exactly.
which is what I have. But mate, thank you so much for being here. You've I mean, you've risen up the ranks, let's call it that. You've absolutely, over the past 12 months, it's been absolutely incredible to watch how prolific you are. I quickly had a look at the algorithm and the rankings last night. And these rankings, I must say to all the coaches as well that are watching this, they are probably a lot of it is based around volume, right? So the algorithm, like especially when you click over to see the popularity list, a lot of it is so what it's based on is like how many lessons the coach is given, how quick their response time is, how many ratings and reviews they get, how much revenue is generated, and then the volume, right? So there's about five or six different elements that contribute to that, if you're ever wondering. But generally, volume has quite a lot to do with it, which is what Andy Little does so well. And then obviously, mate, you are absolutely killing it at the moment. You're at number two, I saw overnight, which I mean, I know what that requires to actually sort of what volume it requires to get to that level. And that really has just accelerated over the past 12 months from a point where I remember when we first spoke, you were sort of a little bit indifferent, really, about the whole idea of doing it, probably because you were still thinking about playing. Would you say, is that fair enough?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, that was the main goal was to want to play.
Mm.
I never really enjoyed tournament golf though, which is a bit of a weird one people find. I
Right.
think I kind of just did it because I felt like I wanted to do, I didn't know what I wanted to do with life. And I
Mm.
wanted to do something with golf, and I felt like that was my only avenue was to play. No
Right.
interest in coaching. And then it wasn't until the pro at my home golf club is like, why don't you just do your PJ training? So I just finished like top 10 in a tournament and lost money playing on a mini tour.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Right.
just do your PGA. You can make money playing PGA regional events because the standard's still good, but it's easier to
Mm.
pick up money. So I did
Yeah.
my PGA just purely to play, never with the intent of coaching. It wasn't until I gave a few golf lessons like, this is actually quite rewarding. It's a lot less stressful.
Yeah.
And it kind of snowballed from there. Yeah.
How cool. So give everyone a bit of a background because you're a very good player. Like you were right on the cusp of, sort of you have played DP World Tour events, haven't you? Like you played
Yeah.
like at the
Yeah.
top level.
I played one DP and one challenge tour.
Okay,
Uh,
yeah,
So I turned pro in 2013 off plus two, which I really wasn't good enough. So I kind
right.
of struggled for a few years. Grown up with one of my best mates, Ben Evans, who had a DP World Tour card, and then
Right.
got the opportunity to caddy for him, did 10 events and kind of learned more than I realized in those 10 events and thought I was going to be caddying full time for him. Then things changed. So then I played the following year, had a good year. I think it was just from learning, just watching the best players, how they just simply, they weren't as, without sounding stupid, they're not as good as I thought they were. They just
Yeah.
score. And I think that's kind of what I got from it. It's not about how well you hit the golf ball. You just got to get around the golf course. And then I had a good few years. Yeah, had DP World start, had a Challenge Tour start. It was the Challenge Tour start I actually played in Austria. It cost me a fortune to be there because it was COVID-ish times or just off the back end of COVID, I think.
Right.
And I remember I just played awful. And I remember sitting in a hotel looking at flights home and thinking, do I really want to do this? Like, this is, I just don't know if I could hack it, to be honest, when you're not playing well.
Yeah, interesting. So is that why you didn't enjoy playing? Is that you just maybe weren't quite at that level, or like was it more just like the travel and just like the competitive? Because it's obviously incredibly cutthroat. Like you stand on
Yeah,
You stand on that first tee, and if you don't make a check, you're losing money for the week.
I think it's just I've always been so hard on myself playing golf,
Right.
and I think that was I think I had spells where I was definitely good enough, but then
Mm.
it's doing it when it matters. And I won a couple of big tournaments, but otherwise it was yeah the DP World start and the Challenge Tour start I didn't play well, so I guess that
Yeah.
kind
Okay.
of not put me off, but maybe a little bit, yeah.
So is that now completely done? Like playing's done? Like will
Uh,
you go and play some pro-ams and like muck around and see if you can? What are you? You're 34 now, did you say? Is that right?
33.
33,
So
right. So
kind
you've
of,
got
I think this is
17
meant. I
years.
remember a few years ago that was like peak age 31. They worked out, didn't they, for a tour pro, which is definitely getting younger now anyway. But
Definitely getting younger. Yeah, yeah. But there's probably more money to be made at the senior level these days than ever before as
yeah,
well. So the good thing is you can just, I mean, the great thing about what you've built on Skillest is that you can just keep, there's a couple of guys like Tyler Hogarty and like,
yeah, I know him. Yeah,
Elliot Bradley as well. Like there's a couple
yeah,
of guys that are all still playing and like they're actually able to maintain, a real level of, really high skill level because of
yeah.
everything that, the Skillers has provided for them. So let's get like right into how you've done this whole thing because I think something you were doing was building content and that was really, really helping, on socials. But like, what was it that made you just say, and just really quickly, actually, just so people can get context, like how many people are you coaching at the moment? Like, give us an idea of like the scale and how busy you are.
So I've got at the moment, I think it's about 120 subscribers.
Wow.
And considering my original goal was to get to 30, I wanted to get 30 subscribers because I felt like that was one payment for every day of the month, and that just
Yep.
seemed like a nice amount. And then yeah, to get to 120 seems crazy to be honest.
Are you managing it? Are you
Yeah,
okay with
so
that?
I talked to Andy Little quite a lot, and we talk about how many lessons we're doing and things. So I actually looked at my screen time the other day, and Skillest, I'm averaging like between 2 and 3 hours a day. So it's not as much as I think some people think. It's
Totally. And something that has happened over time, and a lot of it's got to do with, I think two things are happening, and more of this stuff will happen. Like as AI gets better, right? And I know everyone's talking about this, but we're already building and looking at things in the background that we're just going to be able to expedite the process even more. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like where you're going to have like a little co-pilot that's essentially like doing stuff for you, and it's you. You know what I meing? It's like, 10xing. How do we 10x you? But it's just going to make it easier and easier. And I think speaking to another coach recently, he said the exact same thing. He's like, as the products got better on skills and as I got better at understanding how to manage my time, he's like, it's like super easy. Like in terms of
yeah,
it used to take me 5 hours like of a day. I'd have to sit down and maybe do 2 hours at the start of the day and then from, 1 till 4 in the afternoon and knock everything over I needed to. Now, because you're so good at what you do and you know what students want, sometimes you give students too much or you used to, and now you
yeah.
just know what they need as well. And you can actually really condense that time down. So you're essentially coaching 120 people in 3 hours a day or something like that.
Yeah, pretty much. And then there's a lot of people that don't subscribe as well. So packages I do quite well on. So I do a single lesson and a 3 lesson package, which are both really popular.
Yeah,
But then it's trying to convert them into subscribers, I guess. But
amazing, amazing. And so give us an idea. How did you get it moving? Right? How did you go from sort of semi-indifferent? Because I think when we first spoke, it was a bit, yeah, oh yeah, I'll maybe give this a go, and then nothing didn't really happen that much for 6 months or even a year, really. And then you
yeah,
sort
yeah.
of
Yeah,
something
the
happened
first
in
year
your
it was
head.
like £100 a month, £75 a month. It was kind of nothing
Yeah,
really.
yeah. But
And
you
then
also weren't, I remember thinking like, oh my God, Michael could just be absolutely enormous. And you weren't quite putting the energy into it, really, were you?
yeah,
So
I
what
think
happened?
I think so. Last year through the summer, so this time last year, I was doing quite nicely. Like it was good enough I was making good enough money that I wouldn't have to do other jobs well, but not a lot of money. It's not like life changing. And I
Mm,
remember I remember my first month. I think I did like one of the first months I did £1,000. I remember saying to my mum, who was my boss at work. So I used to work for her,
right.
and she said to me, and I remember saying I've done £1,000 online coaching. She was like, "At what point are you going to leave work when you do like 5 grand a month?" And I remember just laughing at her and being like, "I'm never going to do that." And
Yeah.
then yeah, the last year was a pretty good year. So kind of what year are we now? So 2023, I did double in 2024, and then I'm doing double this year what I did last year. But
Wow.
it was November last year where it kind of just I don't know what happened where the November the year before it just dropped off. I seemed to lose
Yeah.
most of the students, and I thought that was
Yeah.
going to happen again. And then it
Mm.
just went mad. And I think ever since then, it's just snowballed kind of every month onwards, really.
That's good to hear. And I think that everyone would love to hear that as well, knowing that we're coming into the off season, which always
Yeah,
does, like it flattens a bit. So, every year Skillest grows, but there's no doubt that, sort of October, November, December, it's that growth flattens a bit, right? And then it's like January 1, it's hilarious. Like everyone wakes up January 1 and they're like, right, golf season's coming, or,
yeah,
New
yeah,
Year's resolution, and everyone takes off again. And I know that, a couple of the other coaches actually had really good November, Decembers last year as well. And it was really good to see because it sort of just changed or arrested a trend that we had been seeing. What would you suggest to people, that coaches out there that are like, oh, I've got so much momentum right now. Last thing I want to do is like lose 5 or 6 or 7 subscribers, like, or whatever, or however many it is leading into the off season.
It's just being consistent, isn't it? I think a lot of my
Yeah.
students come from TikTok, come from social media, which TikTok's been like the last year has been amazing.
Right.
But I think it's just being consistent. I think building yourself up on Skillist as well. But I think the higher up your list, I'm definitely getting more free analysis come through, and then it's
Okay.
converting them. That's where I convert most students from, I would say.
That's really interesting. I remember speaking. So this is another thing we should talk about and get coaches fired up about coming is Dubai as well. So we met.
Yeah,
We've spoken in the past, but we met for the very first time in Dubai at the Skillest ProAm in March this year, which
yeah,
was just a truckload of fun. I'm sure you had as
that
much
was
fun.
brilliant. Yeah,
Everyone loved it. Like some of the students came up to me and said that was the best week of their life, right? Which was like,
yeah.
maybe you need to do more with your life. But like it was, but it was an incredible week. There's no doubt about it. But I remember like speaking to some of your students. Like I deliberately went up to them and I think one of them might have been with you at the time, and I said, what was it? Because he started working with you. Can't remember his name. Who was that? He
It
shut.
was Andy who
That's it, Andy. Yeah,
yeah
yeah, the guy loved a cigarette.
yeah
Like, and he was, I said, what was it about Michael? And he just said he was just so approachable, and all the content that you gave just felt like you were his friend essentially, and it was just like really
yeah
engaging. And I totally get. Once I got to meet you, I totally understood that these that something like that, a free lesson and an experience with you would help someone like really understand who you are as a person and sort of break
yeah.
down the intimidation barrier that everyone has of working with a golf pro sort of thing. So what run through your free lesson process, because it's really interesting actually. Before you even do that, I actually just got a whole bunch of data over the last 48 hours really around free lessons because they can be
Okay.
controversial, right? Some people are like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
not going to give away any of my time and blah 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 blah, and that totally makes sense if you don't convert them. But like I've sort of got it in front of me here, and I think on average you sort of convert your free lessons at like 39%, right? Which
Really,
is
is that okay?
which
Yeah.
is
It's quite high.
incredible, right? Which is incredible. And there might be a little bit of missing data from there in terms of like where the source is and stuff, but that's amazing, like, and most people might think, oh, well, that means I'm doing 2 lessons for every one I get or whatever it is, but if you've got no students and you're converting every third person or almost every, second person, whatever, to a paid user, like that is absolutely incredible. Now, some of the coaches and this is just because people don't know how to use the software or they don't know what converts or whatever it is, have done hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of online of giveaways and they convert at like 8% and 9%. So you can understand those coaches are like,
Yeah.
complete waste of my time. So it depends where you are on that spectrum as to what you think or how valuable you think these giveaways are or, free lessons are. Can you explain to everyone like what you do to engage people and then convert at such a high rate?
I think it's so for me it's you gotta be personable with them. So I think not being too technical is a big thing. If you start using technical jargon, you've just lost them straight away. Keep it as simple as possible
Yeah.
is a big thing. Tell them what they're doing wrong in what's happening in their swing, and then kind of it's you don't want to try and sound like you're selling it. So I always end it with kind of saying, there's different lesson packages, subscription rates available. Any questions you got, send them across. I always say I get it back as soon as possible. So my turnaround at the moment, I get everything back pretty much within 24 hours. So I think that sounds. Sometimes I say to them that if you can send this across in the next hour, I'll get it back to you tonight.
Yeah.
So it makes them
Wow.
kind of gives them incentive. Or if I send this now, I'm not going to have to wait 48 hours and things. So it's kind of
Wow.
puts them on the spot to go, right, okay, I'll do it now just to. But yeah, I think it's kind
That's,
of telling them what they do wrong, not telling them how to fix it, but telling them, saying, oh, I've got some good drills that I think would help with this, and
yeah.
kind of explaining how an online lesson works, but not being too sales pitchy, just talking to them about their swing, because every golfer loves talking about their golf swing, don't they? So
Totally. So the one thing you just said then, which I think is really critical, is the turnaround time. And it's sort of like it's one of those chicken and the egg things, or it's like for most coaches that aren't yet super busy on Skillest, the priority is Skillest sort of sits here. They want it to be here, right? So they want Skillest to like they want your life, essentially, Michael, where you're
yeah,
full-time online now, really, aren't you? You don't do do you do any in-person coaching
I
anymore?
do. I do 3 days a week, but I'm kind of cutting
Oh,
down more and more on that. Just like
gotcha.
I'm probably doing 10 hours a week of coaching, if that. Just trying to
10
reduce
hours.
it more.
Okay, which would, mightn't be bad to hold on to that, like, just because
Yeah, I kind of want to keep
you,
my foot in the door, and
yeah, exactly. But the biz, most guys and girls want their, skills to be up here, but it's at here at the moment because their in-person coaching is wherever it is, and unfortunately, if it's down here and it doesn't get prioritized, you're never going to get back to people faster. But no, so you might go over
no,
here, and have a look. I mean, hopefully you're using skills for all your in-person coaching, which is why it's so
yeah,
important to use for your in-person coaching. Because if a free analysis comes in, you can do it like in your lunch break or something like that.
yeah,
But the turnaround time thing you said is so important. Like if someone sends you through a free analysis because they're like, "Hey Michael, seen you on socials, or it looks like you're super popular on Skillest, or my friends told me about you. I'd love you to have a look at my action." And you sort of notice it 5 days later, or do
yeah.
something a couple of days later, like that experience straight away. I mean, especially as AI once again, you know, comes more and more into our world, people are just going to want instantaneous sort of feedback, aren't they? They're not sort of going to sit around for 5 days. So
Yeah,
the advantage of being really busy on the app is that you can get back to people really fast. And then
yeah.
that actually seems that's a huge incentive for people to work with you.
I think the big thing is as well is like with the free analysis is people come onto the app and they find all the coaches offer a free analysis, so they send it out to every coach. And
Yeah.
if you're the first one to get it, I've had it. So I speak a lot to Elliot Bradley and I speak a lot to Andy Little. And it's kind
Yeah.
of, I know that if I'm getting a free analysis, if it's not from someone on social media, then they're probably getting it as well. And I've had
Yeah.
like Elliot sent me a screenshot saying, oh, sorry, I've gone with Michael because he got it back quicker. And they do it on, once they've got the lesson back, it's like, oh, I'm going to sign up, that's it. So it's kind of, it is a speed thing as well. You've got to do it quick. And I tend to get most,
Interesting.
if I'm sitting at home, I'll get it back within 10 minutes to someone. They're probably like, I wasn't expecting that so quick. I'm going to get a good service here. And
Totally.
so it helps.
Totally. 100%. Yeah, no, that's awesome, mate. I love it. So yeah, free swinging. So how many of those do you think you're doing? Like a week?
I probably do between 5 and 10 a day, I reckon.
Wow.
Probably take me at most 4 minutes, I would say.
Hold on. So these are the free swing analysis. You're getting 5 to 10 a day.
So I've got a thing at the top of my TikTok that's pinned to my page that shows you how to get a free analysis. When I originally posted it, I had like 200 come through in one day, to the
Holy
point where it was
moly.
like, I ended up, they
Right.
were like a minute long because I just didn't have the time to do it.
Holy dolly.
But now I don't advertise it as much anymore, but it's there at the top of my TikTok. So some people see that and come through it. But yeah, I would say 5 to 10 a day on average. Yeah. I've probably
Wow.
done, yeah, 6, 7, 8 today.
Well, that would make sense with like, as I said, if you're converting at such a high rate where a lot of your growth has come from. And I know for a lot of coaches out there, it's going to be like, hey, I'm used to standing in my driving range and getting 100 quid an hour, for, my coaching or whatever. Online is just a very different world. A lot of people are sampling it. They're
Yeah.
understanding what it's even about. They don't even know what the product is. Like online lesson, am I just going to get like, some, pre-recorded video back? And when it's Michael standing there giving them, this like incredible experience, they get the aha moment happens, and those people might end up spending thousands and thousands of dollars with you because, or they might fly to Dubai to come and work with you, which three of your students did for the ProAm this year. You just never know what people are going to be worth to you, long term over a
No, no, exactly.
period of
Yeah.
time. So
Just had a guy actually that subscribed who lives in Australia and he was over here on holiday and came down to see me. So we did a
wow,
little hour lesson and
how
so yeah, that
good.
was pretty
That's
crazy.
awesome. Cool. Really, really cool. Yeah. I think the other stuff you do really well. I think this is so. What you do is use Skillest features well, right? So you use obviously the following feature. You've got over 4,000 followers just on Skillest,
Yeah.
don't you? So if you
Yeah.
think think about that team, right? So most people would kill for 4,000 Instagram followers, like let alone followers on Skillest. So what? So the funnel, obviously, they both work together. Follow me on Skillest, get a free online lesson, right? Is that fair enough? Okay.
Yeah.
So follow me on Skillest. He's got his pre-recorded or pre-written messages that pump out to the students. Because I've followed you for so long. Tell me, what does that actual message say to people? I probably haven't even seen it in
So I edited it recently, actually, so I should know. But it's something like, "Welcome to my Skillest account. Would love to be on your journey with you." And it offers like, this is how you get your free swing analysis, and then there's a 20% discount code that you can use on the first month of the subscription rates as well.
Yeah,
So it's like a little incentive, which most people don't tend to use, to be honest. Whether they don't read it or they feel they don't want to use it, I don't know. But
that's interesting. I've actually had that feedback from another coach, Tyler Kuntz, who's over in Las Vegas, who does the same. He's very busy, but he's like, it's really weird. Like they don't actually use the discount code that I provide in my
yeah,
onboarding messages for whatever reason. So yeah, that's interesting. So okay, you've got that, and then once you move people over, so this is the cool funnel that Michael's got. He's got TikTok going. He's got Instagram pumping. Goes straight through. Follow him on Skillest. Once they follow, they get the automated message. They can upload a video, but they also become a follower, mate, right? Don't they? They also
yeah,
come over, and that means that Michael has got them. If they're in the app, you know they're engaged. You know that they're likely to convert. And then, mate, you are incredible with your content for your followers. So, like, this is in Skillest, everyone, right? So not only has he got his, got it down for his social stuff, but he's really, really engaging. I'm actually just trying to get it up here, and I might even show everyone. I can share my screen with everyone. Yeah, here we go. So, wow, this is really cool. I might even do this really, really quickly. Let me just share my screen. Now, everyone's going to get a little sneak peek at something here as well, which will be good because we've got dark mode coming into Skillest in the next version or so. So this is what you're going to see here is actually Skillest dark mode. So let me get this up. Okay. So
oh yeah,
here, yeah, look at that, right? So you can see if I jump over just really quickly, lessons, messages. This is a new thing that's coming as well, mate. This is calendar. So, you can see there. Really, really cool in the background. But yeah, this is dark mode, everyone. So it looks really cool. But if I jump over to my messages here, and so this is Michael, the DMs that I've got going with Michael. So Michael and I obviously communicate either through me sending out content that you're all getting, but also he, because I follow him, sends me a whole bunch of stuff. So everything obviously on the left-hand side is what Michael sends through to me as a follower, right? So this is, so on the 11th of July, what's the correct distance to stand from the golf ball, blah, blah, blah. Then awesome video, right? So I can sit here and so this is obviously going out to 4,000 people. Then there's a bit of content from me, a little bit of more content. And then Michael has grabbed that content that I sent through and has resent it back to me because I'm following him. So this was obviously around the British Open, the Open, I should say, Michael, shouldn't I, mate?
I didn't want to say
Uh,
anything.
yeah. And so here you can see, so Michael's also promoting, and I'm actually going to send out some more stuff around this, but he's promoting his Arcos link because he gets $20 every time he sends or he sells a set of Arcos, which is really cool. He's got his affiliate link there, tells you how it works. 27th of July, here's a 2-hour practice guide, bit of content from me. And then just the other day, the effective lie angle on the shaft. And then there's another on and shaft lane. And then there's another really cool video that he's put together here. So this is just like so this is the constant engagement that you're doing, mate. And do you get much engagement from your followers on Skillest as well? So even once they've either sent you a swing or not, do you get much engagement when you send that stuff out?
Yeah, I think it kind of, especially so it's good for current subscribers because they feel like they're getting something extra.
Yeah.
But it's also good for people that've had like a free analysis and they've kind of left it. They've not bought a lesson, but then it's kind of jogged their memory. They've gone, oh, I forgot about that, and then they see that video they quite like and they end up buying a lesson. So yeah, it does well to And it's just stuff I've posted on TikTok, and I just take the video out of TikTok and say kind of it's not creating me any extra work. It's just being
Totally.
posted on social media. So
Well, and some people don't even have TikTok, or they don't look at TikTok, or or Instagram, but they love jumping into Skillest because they know they're going to get content from you, or it's where their lessons live and stuff like
yeah,
that. So,
yeah,
but I think you just do a fantastic job of that. So for everyone out there, there's a pretty clear funnel of what he's doing, and it's get your socials and then use all of Skillest tools, right? Whether it's like free online lessons, whether it's getting people to follow you, and then using the content inside that. And just so everyone knows, and if you don't know this already, you obviously should. Once someone follows you, they then go into a broadcast list, which is in your group. So sorry, in your message. So you got messages, you got groups, and then you got broadcast. If you hit broadcast, it says followers. And Michael's got 4,000 people in that group that he can send a DM to essentially. So it's not a group message, it's a one-on-one conversation between you and 4,000 people in Michael's situation. And that obviously leads to, a lot of conversion, I would imagine, based on everything that's happening with you at the moment, mate. So really, really cool stuff. So tell everyone okay, if that's what everyone struggles with, and we spoke to Jay Kelly not too long ago. And the last thing he left me with, which is, quite obvious, but it was quite sort of succinct and true. I said, like, what is the most important thing, like, that you do sort of day to day or did do that really helped your growth? And he said, you've got to have a strategy. Like, you've got to have, like, what is my strategy and what am I doing every day when I wake up, right? There's no sort of sit back and hope that people book in. And
no,
unfortunately, as golf pros, as teaching pros, that's what we're pretty good at, sitting back and just watching our diary fill up because we work at a great academy or whatever it is. So tell everyone like what your day now looks different to the average teaching pro, right? You don't wake up every day and just like do 9 hours of golf coaching.
no, no, I
What?
couldn't do that.
Yeah, exactly. What is your day? How does how do you structure your day to get busy?
So yeah, I didn't think about this too recently because it's quite random, I guess, depending on how many lessons I've got to do. But
Yeah,
so like a normal day, let's say the kids are at school, so I walk them to school. So then I'm back for kind of 9 o'clock, just before 9, and then I'll get on top of all my lessons. Sometimes that might take half an hour, sometimes it might take me an hour and a half to get on top of everything. Then I post something on TikTok, so I make sure I post twice a day on TikTok. There's always something on my story on Instagram. If I go on Instagram, there's not something on my story, I panic and think, oh, what, I need to put something on there, just so you're in
good.
people's heads. They're thinking of you, I guess. And then
Totally.
I'll spend after if any lessons that come through the day, I'll then try and keep on top of them to save me. Because I know some coaches that are busy will just do in the morning and they leave it all afternoon, and then the following morning they've got however many lessons to do. I like to keep on top of it. So
Totally. That's awesome. So it's
some
not
in the
that's not
morning,
too
some in the evening.
complicated. It's not too
No,
complicated, is it? It's like you sort of know at the start of the day you've got to like get on top of everything. Then in terms of like stuff that's been sent through to you. You also then know
yeah,
you've just got to get some content out. And look, it does we don't talk about TikTok enough on this platform, probably because I'm old, right? And I actually don't spend anywhere near as much time as I should on the platform. Do you want to just really quickly give everyone like your experience on the platform? Because I think everyone sort of does it, especially like in our world. Everyone does it as a little bit of an afterthought. Like they just add what they've done in Instagram to TikTok. Um, Whereas probably you and Andy, and there's a couple of others that are like really focused on TikTok. Like
yeah.
give everyone just a little bit of a tip or like a bit of context around how they should think when they're uploading to TikTok.
I think the main thing with TikTok, so I always used to do just Instagram, and then when I found out you could monetize TikTok, that was like my focus. So now I'm monetized on TikTok, and I get a good amount of money from them each month. It's kind of
Do you
that's my
really?
main focus. So that
Yeah.
does like more than I ever dreamt of just through TikTok, and we never know how long that's going to last for because it could be taken down tomorrow, as far as you
Yeah,
know. But
yeah.
so that brings in a good amount of money. So that's my main focus, really. But it's
Right.
consistent. It's just posting. So I post twice a day, pretty much religiously.
Right.
And then
Right.
it's knowing what works. It's kind of viral content. I do some coaching stuff. So I did a coaching or like a golf video today talking about sharpening, which has done quite well. But a lot of
Right.
it is kind of what's happening in golf in the world. People seem to quite like, and asking how far does someone hit their 7 iron? That was quite a good one recently. What's the average 7 iron length? And just It's
Mm.
making people engage, really. That's the thing.
Well, the great thing about that question, and this is what everyone needs to do a little bit more when they think about their content, you've got to think about what are the questions that people are asking themselves. And what you just said then is a question you hear all the time. How far am I supposed to hit my 7 iron? Like,
Yeah,
and we both know the answer is like, well, everyone's completely different. Everyone hits a completely different
yeah,
distance, right? And this is how far I hit it, this is how far you hit it. But it's such a common question, right? So I think often when we're creating content, we're just sort of coming up with ideas or what we want to talk about, which is super important. But you also want to put it in the context of what questions are players and students always asking, and how can I
yeah,
frame to engage them? Because that's what they want. They want their answer. They want their questions answered, right? They don't want to hear some super technical, brand new like what you don't want to do a lot of the time is create content for coaches, right? That's not
yeah.
going to be
That's
great
a
for
big thing. Yeah,
students. That's not
yeah.
great for students. You've got to create content for students. So,
That's what I was kind of scared of at the beginning when I first started posting golf content, like coaching content. It was always like I was trying to make sure it was perfectly worded for so when other coaches watch it, they go, "Oh no, he knows what he's talking about." But actually, it doesn't matter what they think. It's you're just trying to help the average golfer. That's what you're trying to do. So that's I guess
100%.
a big piece of advice is just don't worry about what other coaches think. It's you're just trying to help golfers, really. Keep it simple
Totally.
and
And the older you get, mate, like once I'm a decade older than you, and I see it even in, a bunch of really great coaches older than me, they get less and less technical, or sorry, the way they explain, their knowledge is more and more, it's infinite, but
yeah,
they don't feel the need to, get online and tell everyone, exactly what they know because like all that matters is the player getting better. So, and that is actually what attracts truckloads of students. So I think you've done a great job there, mate. Well done.
thank you. Yeah,
Mate, that was really cool. That was really informative. I think most coaches out there will love like just hearing how you've like worked your socials, followers, free lessons. I think that's somewhat, it's a bit of a mystery to all these coaches out there. Like as I said, some people are like we've got one coach, believe it or not, who converts at 60% of their free lessons, right? They've given away like 300 lessons and they've got over 180 or something like that conversions from those 300, which was incredible.
impressive.
And then others are literally down at like 9. So you can see why there is like this mystery about it. Well, how does it work for some? And I think you probably help some people understand why it works.
Yeah, I think the more you do, you build your own little script anyway, which changes over time.
Yeah.
Andy Little's helped me massively with things like that. So
Yeah.
we talk most days, and he's been really helpful. So
No, he's a beast. That's for sure. He's on fire.
yeah, he's mad.
Mike, you said it, not me. Michael, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. It's great having you on the platform. It's great to see the growth over the past 12 months for someone like you, and it just shows that, yeah, if you focus on it, anything's possible. Anything's possible.
Oh, definitely, yeah,
Awesome, mate. Will I see you in Dubai again next year?
yeah. I've got two members in my team already. I
They're
think
already
they're both
booked
paid
in.
as well, so I've just got one more to fill.
Fantastic.
So
Do you
I'll
want
be
to
there.
like, if everyone is still listening, even like we're half an hour in or something like that, so this is a pretty long sort of chat, but like, give everyone like get everyone fired up about like the idea of attending. One of the things I hear all the time from coaches is, "Oh, I'm never going to get anyone to come to Dubai with me," and you'd be amazed, wouldn't you? Like I remember Andy. Speaking of Andy, he said to me like 4 weeks beforehand. I said, "Why don't you get a team together and come out to Dubai?" And he's like, "Oh, there's no way any of my students are going to want to come." And he put it out and he filled a team in like 3 or 4 days, right? But in his head, he thought no one's going to spend the money to fly halfway around the world or just,
Yeah, I
well,
think in the UK, there's so many golf trips to like Spain and Portugal that are so much cheaper, but it
right.
is like it's worth every penny to buy. It is. It
Oh,
was one of the best weeks. Like it was
yeah.
perfect.
And it's only going to be better this week, this time round because we've got the tracks we're playing are even better. Playing
Yeah,
some, we're going down to Abu Dhabi to go and play Yas
yeah.
Links, and then the final night's going to be an incredible night as well. But yeah, oh look, it's absolutely well and truly worth it. I mean, if you can bring 3 players, like they pay for your trip except for your airfares, you know what I mean? So if you can get 3 people there, it's well and truly worth it. There'll be prizes you know, we've got guys like obviously Andy Carter, Matt Fryer will come out. Peter Finch apparently has said he'll come out. So we'll try and get some more YouTube
Very
guys
cool.
there. Great collaborations and stuff. So everyone out there. I'll send more details out, but yeah, if you can come, we'd absolutely love to have you there. It's at the end of February, so it's going to creep up really quickly.
Yeah, no, it was one of the best weeks I've had. So if I can
Yeah.
recommend, hence I'm going back.
Awesome, mate. Thanks so much for your time. And yeah, as I said, it's great having you on the platform. And I'm in the UK in January, actually. So don't know if we'll play golf in January, but
You won't play golf in January, no.
no, but we can have a beer somewhere. There's down at Brighton pub or something like that. That'd
Yeah,
be
definitely. Yeah.
all right, mate. Well, I'll speak to you soon.
Have a good one. Have a good day.